Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome to online lecture number 13 of the mobile application development course. I hope that you people are doing well and I hope that you people are giving time to this course, because the more you practice, the more you code, the more you will learn. So this course is very important as far as your FIP is concerned and as far as your professional life is concerned, because mobile phones are everywhere and having a skills and mobile application development is very vital and very applicable. So with that, today we are going to study what are context menus. We are also going to study alerts and date picker. So the outline of today's lecture is that first we are going to study context menu. We are going to implement a context menu by creating a simple app. Then we are going to discuss what are alerts, and once again, for understanding alerts, we are going to develop a small app that will you will get an idea of how and where we can use alerts. Then if we have time, we are going to discuss date pickers and time pickers, which are the built-in classes or the elements in Android Android SDK. So a context menu allows user to take an action on a selected view. So if you have a paragraph or if you have an activity, you can long click on that activity and then a small menu or a window will appear, and that is called a context menu. While the option menu in the app bar usually provide choices for navigation to other activity, you use a context menu to allow the user to modify a view within the current activity. So a context menu is used to first you display it by by holding a mouse button and by using a long click, and then once it is displayed, then it allows you to modify the view within the current activity, so you can then perform different actions. We will see it later on. You can display toast message, or you can change some element values, etc. So a context menu appears as a floating list of menu items when the user perform a touch and hold on a view, as shown in the on the next slide. So let me show you this context menu example. So here you can see we have a context menu. So this is called a context menu. So let me change the marker. Yeah, highlighter will be better. So this thing is called a context menu. How it appears, you just hold and click and hold and you will see this type of a window. So you can then perform some selection. So if you have an app, you click and hold, then you this context menu appears, and when you select and you click on any option, you will see this toast message appearing. So this is what we are going to do in this lecture. So then we have dialogues, and then one of the dialog is an alert dialog. So this is an example of alert dialog. It allows user to out of two or more option select one option, like user can perform cancel or OK. So if a user press OK, a message will be displayed. So this is mainly used to interrupt the user workflow and allows user to make some choices. And then we have a date picker. So this is an example of date picker window. So we are going to see how to implement it. So you can pick a particular day, a month and a year, and then that date, you can use that date in your application. And then we have a similar type of an object called a time picker, which allows you to pick a particular time and then use that time in your system. So you can like perform logging operation, and you can see on which time some type of activities were performed. So with that, I'm going to close this window, and let us create a new project to implement the context menu. And if we have time, then we are going to implement the other concepts as well. So go to file, new project, and then you can click next, and then I'm going to give it a name. So the name is context menu scrolling text, and the package name looks fine. I think the location is also okay, and the language is Java. We are going to start learning the Kotlin programming language in I mean in near future lectures. So get ready for that as well. And the rest of the options are okay. So I'm going to click finish. So let the Gradle do its job, and I hope that the project will be um, created successfully, because you have so far noticed that while you create a project there are multiple types of like updates, problems, and they really take a lot of time. So that is why I recommend having a good system, and I also recommend having good internet connection, because a lot of time this Gradle will update or will download the required necessary libraries from the internet. So that is why a good internet connection is necessary. So the Gradle has done its jobs. Congratulations, we have successfully created our context menu scrolling text app. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to save my time. How I'm just going to paste some strings, because it it will take a lot of time to write those strings. And of course I share all these codes with you on the GitHub, and then I share that link with you, so do not worry about the code. I'm going to share it. So first I'm going to copy all that code. So I have like pasted it and the string, all those strings in my in this Word file. So let me copy them, because you have noticed that it could take a lot of time, even hours, to type all these texts. So better to just paste it over here and save our time. So I'm also going to remove this string and paste whatever we have in the string file. So this looks fine. So we have the string name, app name, article title, article subtitle, article text. You already we have seen a similar type of app before. We have where we have simply used these types of text and string in order to read an article or read a book, etc. So with that, the second thing I'm going to do is to go to the layout file and change the layout file as well. So I'm going to go to the code, and then here I'm going to use the relative layout. Yeah, so the relative layout, um, and I'm also going to paste some code in order to save time. So this is that code. So this code is very easy. I mean, we are on lecture 13, and you have learned about what are text views, what are linear layouts, what is a scroll view. So I think we can save a lot of time by simply copying them. So yeah, this is what we get. And then we have some missing colors. The first one is the color primary. So I'm going to add that color in my color file. So here I can add a color with the name of color primary, and then we can give it a code hash 3f51 So you can give any code that you want, but here I'm going to use this color. Okay, so now let us go back, and you can see that that error has gone. The second error is of dimension, because we have a dimension file and we have some dimension bit, but we haven't created that, used it, but haven't created the dimension file. So go to values, new, value resource file, and this will be dimension file. Click OK. I'm going to create two dimension. The first one will be padding regular, and that is going to be 10 dp, and the second dimension will be the line spacing, and for that the dimension will be 5 sp. So let us once again go to our main activity, and the error has gone. Now things are looking okay. So we have a text view, scroll view. You already know about these: linear layout, text view, linear layout. So what will be the design of our app? So you can see this is a simple design, and we have a scroll view. Now we are in position to add a context menu to our application. So for adding a context menu, first you are going to go to the res folder, right click it, and then choose new, and then choose Android resource directory, yeah, this one. And here I am going to choose menu in the resource type, yeah, and then we can click OK. So you can see menu directory has been created. Once again, I'm going to right click on it and go to new, and then menu resource file, and here I'm going to enter the name as menu underscore context, and then you can simply click OK. So we have this menu context, and then what we can do, we can add element to this file. So let me go to the code section, and now we are in position to add the menu item. So the first item will be context underscore edit, and order in category is 10, and then the title will be, so we have already defined the title, it's in the string file, string/edit, and then you can close it. And then we have second item, the ID will be context underscore share, order in category will be 20, and the title will be at string share. And then we have the last item, which is the ID is context underscore delete, order in category is 30, and then title is string/delete. And that these are the three items that will be displayed in the context menu. I think we are done with the design part. Now it is time to go to our main activity file, because we have to implement it. So the first thing that we are going to do is to register the context menu to the text view of the article. So you have to register this context menu, like you have to create a link between your menu and the text view of the article. So for that, get the text view, get its reference, which is called article underscore text, find view by id, r.id dot article. Okay, so after getting the reference of the article text view, we are going to register this menu with the article text uh, by calling a built-in method called register for context menu. Yeah, register for context menu. And what do you want to register? You want to register the article text. So with that, we are going to move out of the onCreate method, and then we are going to somehow inflate the context menu and use the context menu in our application. So for that, I'm going to override a method, and that method is called public void on create context menu. Okay, so we are going to give some uh, parameters. The first one is context menu, which is called menu. Then we have a view, and then some extra information about the view is stored in context menu dot context menu info, and then menu info. I'm going to import it by pressing Alt Enter. And now because it's our written method, so the first thing we are going to do is to call the super on create context menu and pass it these arguments: menu, the view, and the menu info. So if you do not call the super method, then you are going to get an error because we are overriding the super class. Okay, now it is the time to inflate the menu inflator, and we are going to use a special class called menu inflator. And how do we inflate it? By first we create the object of menu inflator by calling a method called get menu inflator, and after creating that object we call another method called inflate and pass on our menu, which is r dot menu dot the name of our menu, and the second thing will be the argument that we get when we call this on create menu method. Okay, so far so good. So we have inflated our context menu, but what can we do, like if a person click on context menu or on item of a context menu, then what action will be performed? So for that, we are first going to create a private method called display toast, and it will get a string, and it's going to display a message. And we know that how we can display a message or display a message on a toast. So toast dot make text get the current application context, and then we are going to display the message, and the toast length will be toast dot length long, and don't forget to show it. Okay, so far so good. But we haven't implemented what should we do when a particular item from the context menu is selected. So once again we are going to override a method, and that method is called that will return a boolean value, and that method is called on context item. On context item selected, and then we have menu item, and then we can use switch. We are going to switch according to what menu item we get. So we call the get item id method in order to get the id of the menu context menu item. So our first case will be r dot id dot if we select the context edit, then what should we do? We are calling a toast message, and we are saying that we are going to get string from what? From r, the string which is already defined in the string file, r dot string dot the edit message which we have already defined in the string in the file. So you can see that what is the value for this edit message. So let me show it to you. Go to the string file, and you can see the edit message, edit choice clicked. So this is the message that you will see on the toast, and then we are going to return true because the um, return type is boolean. So after that we can move on, and we can have another case. This case will be for r.id dot context share, and once again we are going to display toast get a string r dot string dot I think it's share message, yes, and then we can return the true value. And then we have another case dot id dot, this time it's context delete display toast get string r dot string dot, and then we have a delete message. Yeah, this one. Make sure that you have selected the right text, and then we are going to say return true, and the default option will be we are going to return, call the super method super dot on context item selected. We are going to pass in the item because the user haven't selected anything from the available choices. So at that moment we are going to just call a super method and pass it that item option. I think that's it for the context menu. Let me run it and let us see how does it looks in the emulator. Meanwhile, I'm also going to see the time, so still we have 6 minutes. I hope everything will go fine. Then I'm going to repeat what we have done in this lecture. I hope that you people are enjoying this course. Remember that mobile devices are everywhere. You do not code for simple mobile phones. You also code for watches, for automobile screens, for LED screens, for everything. I mean, you can see that these small thin screens are now everywhere. So the future is of internet of things, and you will see these different types of devices everywhere. So it like you have saved your time and your resources for your future, and then it is safe to like work and develop these types of applications. So we have context menu scroll in text. This is your application. If I click, yeah, you can see that these options are now shown to you. So this is a context menu. Once again, let me double click and hold down the mouse, and you can see if I select edit, so edit choice is clicked. So you see that message on the toast. So once again, let me click it, and this time I'm going to click delete, so delete choice is clicked. So for the last time, I'm going to select the share, so share choice is clicked. So the app is working fine. I'm going to repeat what we have done in this application. So first we have use strings. I just copy these strings because this is a lot of text. So in order to save time, I just copy, and we have already done similar type of app, so you are familiar with this type of text. So all these text strings are going to be used in our application. So in order to save time, I just paste them, and after that we created our main layout of the app, and the code, you can see that these things are very similar. We used a relative layout, then inside this relative layout we used a text view. Yeah, so text view, so display something at the title, and then we use a scroll view because there is a lot of text, so we have to scroll up and down. And then inside the scroll view we used a linear layout having orientation of vertical. We use a text view for subheading, articles, subtitle, and then once again we use another text view for the main article. So you can see that this is the main article, and then we close the linear layout, scroll view, and the relative layout. After that we declare some menu, context menu item, and these are the three items that will be used in the context menu. And if I go to this main activity, and and here we first get the reference of the article text, because user has to click on that article, so we have to register that article for a context menu. So that is why we used a built-in method called register for context menu article text. And then after that we use two overridden methods, on create menu context and on create item selected. On create context menu was used to inflate your context menu. So how we inflated it, we used the menu inflator, created the object by calling this method get menu inflator, and then we use that object and call another method called inflate, and then we inflated our menu context by writing r.menu underscore context and passing this menu as our second argument. After that we have to perform action when the user select a particular context item. So for that we once again override another method called on context item selected, and we have three choices. So we use the three cases for context underscore edit, context underscore share, and context underscore delete. If a particular option or menu item is selected, then we call the display toast message and display string related to that menu item. And then for default we call on super item selected method of the super class, and this is our display toast message that is going to display toast on the screen. And then we run our application, and you saw that it is run perfectly. Once again I'm going to double click, then you can see that this is called context menu, because that menu appears right on the context on the screen, and this is that context article. And you can see that you can scroll up and down because of the scroll view. So very simple but very useful application and useful concept that you can use in your larger application. So with that, I'm going to stop here. I hope that you have enjoyed today's lecture. I'll see you in the next class. Till then, take care and Allah Hafiz.